Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today we'll be continuing into part 6 of What If Broly Was King Vegeta's Son. If you haven't seen part 5, there's a title card where you can go check it out and see what happened in the last part. But today, we'll be going into the God Training Saga. How strong has both Gohan and Broly gotten with their respective training? How will their showdown end? What about the fighters that remained on Earth? Also, I saw a lot of comments on the last part about why Goku didn't show up, and my thing is that I believed he couldn't show up because of different reasons of how he died. In the normal timeline, which the one where they don't die in the future, Goku comes back after he sacrificed himself, saving the planet from Cell blowing it up. But in the future timeline, he dies of a natural heart virus and he's never brought back. Not any Z fighter has been brought back in the future timeline, which could be, I don't know, a plot hole. But I believe that he couldn't come back because of the way he died. In the future timeline, he died of natural causes, and he couldn't be brought back either by the Dragon Balls nor by Fortune Teller Baba. So I'm just taking that in this as well, that he wouldn't be able to come back because of the way he died, which was still in the heart virus in this timeline. So yeah, I'm sorry about that, but that does not mean he's not coming back. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see in the future if this what if. Also, I own a Discord server for anyone who wants to join and talk more about Dragon Ball with me and other viewers. Maybe give us some of your own ideas of what ifs, and maybe in the future, I could do them. Check the link in the description down below. Today's question of the video is from Captain_DSZ6049. What do you think would have happened if Kami had a child like King Piccolo did, instead of having Goku being offered the position of Guardian? I mean, maybe that could have made him younger, because in the end, Piccolo is just the reincarnation of Demon King Piccolo, so it would just be the same with Kami. It could have worked, and maybe, I don't know, we would have a Guardian, but I don't think that would change much. Maybe when he grows older, he might fuse with Kami, because Kami giving birth to a child wouldn't kill him. So maybe, I mean, it really depends. I'm not too sure. I don't think it would change much. It would just be Kami, but maybe, maybe that could be a potential what if in the future. I don't know, maybe. I did write that idea down. But thank you so much for the comment. If you want your comment to be featured in the next video, just comment down a question you would like me to answer, and maybe you'll get lucky that your comment will be featured in the next video. Without further ado, let's dive into part 6 of What If Broly Was King Vegeta's Son. Where we left off in the previous part, Gohan has gone to train under the Supreme Kai, while Broly was picked up by Beerus and Whis to be trained under them, as Beerus got the idea of wanting to see who out of the two Saiyans would be stronger under their respective training. Now, to make the time be simple, Gohan and the fighters on Earth will train for a year and a half before Beerus and Whis arrive on Earth, as there is around a year time skip between the end of Z and the start of Super. So that means Broly will only be able to train for 6 months. Gohan will be brought to the Supreme Kai's planet and begin his training. Being much stronger here, he would pull out the Z sword a lot easier and a lot earlier, which means it will break sooner as well, releasing the Elder Kai. And as a thank you, he would perform the ritual to unlock Gohan's potential. And this time around, the Elder Kai would be able to perform the entire ritual without having to rush because of a time limit. As I would say that this would give an even bigger boost to Gohan. He would maintain his mystic form and begin to train to make it his base form. He would take some breaks between the year and a half to return to Earth, but still would spend most of his time training under the Kais. He even learned the Kai, allowing him to return to Earth whenever he wanted to. He even brought back 2 fighters with him, that being Piccolo and Tien. Now on Earth, at the start of Tien and Piccolo's training under Vegeta and Raditz, it was difficult as they didn't have any transformations to rely on, and were pretty far behind in power already. But to everyone's surprise, Nappa returned to Earth, warning them of a potential powerful enemy, being a god of destruction. This drove everyone to train even harder, and in just a year, Vegeta and Raditz obtained the Super Saiyan 3 form and were on the way to learn another transformation, as Nappa explained that he believed there is a form he is close to obtaining with the Ikari form, as he would teach the two the transformation as well, with all 3 of them reaching for a new form. Even Raditz's son Trunks joined in the training and reaped amazing results, achieving Super Saiyan 2 at a young age. In just a year, Tien and Piccolo grew immensely, but still far behind the Saiyans. Until one day Gohan showed up, inviting everyone to the Supreme Kai's planet, but the Saiyans, being Saiyans, refused the invitation as they wanted to get their own source of power, as they were close to something new. But Raditz did believe it was a good idea to bring Tien and Piccolo, as it would help them. Now, before you all ask about Yamcha and Krillin, with how events played out and being very outclassed here, I could see and understand fully if they gave up being a fighter and would just live out their lives normally. And just so all the Krillin fans are happy, he does get with an attractive woman. mainly because I saw a comment with someone saying that in all what ifs, Krillin loses his biggest W in the show, which is Android 18. Back to the story. For the remaining of the 6 months, Piccolo and Tien would begin their training under the Kais, having their potential unlocked and having their mystic form. Tien and Piccolo would grow immensely in 6 months and close the gap pretty well with the Saiyans, as they are around the Super Saiyan 2 level, and both learned the Kai as well. Gohan, however, achieved something that shocked even the Kais, a transformation they did not know existed. Gohan learned the Beast form a whole lot earlier because of the extra training he has done with the Kais, and being around the Supreme Kai much longer. Seeing this form motivated both Tien and Piccolo, as they also wanted to obtain the form that Gohan did, but after the 6 months were over, they each were close to obtaining a new form, as it seemed that their forms were going to be different to each other, but would need more time and training to get this new form. With the Saiyans on Earth, with the last 6 months, Vegeta, Raditz, and Nappa all learned the new transformation, combining the forms of Super Saiyan and Ikari, which is Super Saiyan 4. Hard to say if they would call it that, as it would make more sense for Vegeta and Raditz, but not to Nappa. But that doesn't change the story too much. Trunks would be pretty strong in his own right. He would have been able to access Super Saiyan 3 if he wasn't so young. But as a fighter here though, he is pretty different from canon Kid Trunks, as here he isn't too cocky, but takes Raditz's skill of being a smart fighter, and since he doesn't really have another half Saiyan here to mess around with, he is a much more serious fighter, surrounding himself with grown-ups. Moving on to Broly, he trained under Whis for 6 straight months without any break, and the training was the hardest training that Broly has ever experienced. Some days he even sparred against Beerus. At the start, he was getting his butt kicked until he learned the Super Saiyan God form and learned to sense God Ki as well. When he learned the form, his training grew even more intense, but his 6 months were over as Beerus told Broly that he would be fighting against another Saiyan, as Whis would show Gohan. Here Broly doesn't know who this Saiyan is exactly, since he never really met Gohan besides only for a little while when he wanted to rematch Vegeta back on Earth. However, Broly asks about Vegeta. Whis was impressed with how strong Vegeta has gotten, as he and the other Saiyans obtained a new form that is no laughing matter. Whis would exclaim that all the Saiyans are on Earth currently, as a grin appeared on Beerus' face, saying that they need to pay Earth a visit. On Earth, everyone gathers at Bulma's birthday party. Things would go on pretty normal until Beerus and Whis and Broly arrive. This shocks everyone besides the Saiyans, as they were training for the arrival because of Nappa's prior warning. Beerus explains why he is here, and he wants to see who the strongest Saiyan is. Note, he isn't looking for the Super Saiyan God, as now that it's Broly. Vegeta steps up prepared to fight, but Beerus pointed at Gohan, saying he wanted him to fight Broly first, as he knows that he trained under the Supreme Kai. Gohan didn't care too much to fight, as he only did so to protect the planet, so then Beerus would make a serious face, saying if he doesn't fight, he will destroy the Earth. Nappa would warn Gohan who this is, and after hearing it, he would have no choice than to face Broly. Gohan didn't want to put anyone at risk, so he placed his hand on Broly and teleported to the nearest deserted planet, as Beerus and Whis followed, leaving everyone stranded. Vegeta demanded Tien and Piccolo to teleport them there, but they denied his demand, as it would be very dangerous, but they would be able to sense what is going on, as they would update them. Gohan and Broly arrived at a deserted planet. Not long after, Beerus and Whis arrived as well. Beerus demanded them to go all out, and if they hold back, he will destroy both of them and then the Earth. Having no choice, the two Saiyans power up to their max, right away going into their respective forms. Their first clash between the two alone was almost enough to break the planet in half. They teleported all around the planet, each blow clashing. Beerus was smiling already with how entertaining the fight was, with how it just barely started and was itching to join in. During the fight between the Saiyans, they discussed how this fight was pretty pointless, as they did not want to fight each other at all. Broly wanted to fight Vegeta more, as he wanted to have his rematch once again to finally best him. Beerus would overhear this conversation between the two as he grows angry, teleporting between the two as he would join in the fight, but being very upset. He powers up, not planning to hold back between the two, as he would signal both Gohan and Broly to come at him. They're a bit confused, but they begin to work together to face off Beerus. The two Saiyans no doubt are very strong compared to the canon timeline, but were still being handled by Beerus. Gohan would try to fight in sync with Broly, but it was pretty difficult with the fact that these two never fought together. Beerus would take their lack of teamwork against them. He admits how these Saiyans are strong with the training they have gone through, but they still have a lot of growth if they ever plan to beat him. Gohan would try to use the Kai technique to try to confuse Beerus, as he would manage to get off some kicks and even an instant Kamehameha right to Beerus' face, but after then, Beerus would not be affected from the blast, as he would grab Gohan's face, sending him crashing down onto the planet. He would then shoot a strong destruction blast towards the new crater. Gohan would barely manage to recover and teleport out of the way. The attack was not a full power attack from Beerus, but it was enough to begin the soon explosion of the planet they are currently on. On Earth, both Piccolo and Tien can feel the immense pressure from the fight, as they explain to the others what exactly is going on. Hearing this, Vegeta grows more eager, especially with wanting to face Broly to see how his new transformation would fare, but the others would grow worried, especially for Gohan. Back to the fight, the two Saiyans are being tossed around like they were nothing. Being treated like this, Broly began to grow angry. He was still growing in power in his Super Saiyan God form, but being pushed this far allowed him to break a new barrier. His hair and aura flaring to a new color, as when he powers up, the color changes from red to blue. The tide of the battle turned for a bit, since Broly was slightly caught off guard. Here, Gohan took his chance to Kai quickly back to Earth, and back to bringing Vegeta into the fight. Seeing how damaged Gohan was, Vegeta used his healing techniques he learned from Yardrat to heal Gohan, as he would take on Beerus while Vegeta healed Broly, telling him after this they will have their rematch. Vegeta instantly powers up into his Super Saiyan 4, as all three of them would attack Beerus. Here, they had better teamwork with Vegeta fighting with both fighters before. Beerus was getting tired of this pointless battle as he charged up a death ball, and quickly threw it at the Saiyans. Each of the Saiyans charged their own respective blast to push back the death ball. Slowly, they were being taken over until Gohan shouted to use every ounce of power they had. They would put everything they had and managed to overtake the death ball, pushing it back. Beerus moved out of the way of their attack and appeared in front of all of them. They were tired out and having almost no energy. Beerus would applaud them for the effort, as he is convinced that these Saiyans are a powerful race. He was done fighting as he asked Whis to repair the planet before it would explode, as he would also ask him to heal the fighters. Beerus asked Broly if he wanted to return back to his training and to master the new form he has just unlocked. But he looked back to Vegeta, as he still wanted to have his rematch, to see how strong his rival has become. Beerus would then invite Vegeta, as well as Vegeta decided to follow, as well as he didn't have anything to return to back on Earth. Beerus looked over to Gohan, saying he is welcome as well, but Gohan refused for now, but he did think about joining in later on. But his planet needs him for now. He did thank all of them for the fight, as this showed him how much more he needs to train, as he would serve this fight as motivation. He would return back to Earth with a smile, exclaiming everything is now fine, but did tell Raditz, Trunks, Tien, and Piccolo that their training is far from over, as they need to continue in case of any future threats. On Beerus' planet now, before they started their training, Whis would see the two Saiyans in a fighting stance, ready to fight, as they smirk at each other, seeing how far the two has come, as they would rush over to each other, as we would pan away from the planet and only hear and see the immense clashes between the two Saiyans. And that's going to leave it up for now. Tell me how y'all think about the 6th part and how it did with the God Training Saga. What would be next for our fighters? How will the rivalry between both Vegeta and Broly evolve? How will the Z fighters continue to grow stronger? What could have happened differently? Leave your thoughts down in the comments down below. I would love to hear them. If y'all are interested and enjoyed, please leave a like and subscribe. Hit the notification bell to be alerted whenever I post another part. Thank y'all so much for watching, and I will see y'all in the next part. See ya.